Hey, what's going on everyone? In this video, we are talking about my first shots with the Ruger SFAR coming up. So if you're watching this video, you've probably seen my video on the accessories that I put on the Ruger SFAR. Well, now we've had a chance to go out and shoot it for the first time, and we are talking about some of that. First things first, I want to show that the rifle is clear, no ammo in the magazine, nothing in the chamber. And YouTube, this is a 20 round magazine, so yeah. So it did take me a few months to get this thing out and actually put some rounds through it. And I can honestly tell you that my first experience with this was not very good. It was quite negative. The first rounds jammed in the rifle so bad that I had to use a cleaning rod to get them out. All right, so we're out here with the Ruger SFAR and we're finally taking our first shots using the magazine that came with the rifle. And we have a malfunction. Wow, that is nice and seized up. What the hell? Fuck me.
Ready?
All right, so after the very first round, we had a failure to eject. The brass casing was stuck in there. We had to ram it out with a ramrod. That was on gas setting number 3. So we turned to gas setting number 2, and we'll see how it goes. It tore the edge of the casing. So here's hoping. Did it eject?
I didn't feel anything.
That's not a good sign.
Feels stuck again?
Yep, stuck again. Setting 3, it failed to eject and it tore the edge of the rim. Setting 2, tore the edge of the rim casing, rim, whatever you want to call it. So now I'm on setting 1, and we'll see how that goes. I can tell you that it did it again. Try it one last time and then it's getting put away. Yep, that's not a good sign. And I did hold on to the brass from the first 3 rounds, so let me come and show you what they look like. So here's the edge from the first 3 cartridges that I fired through the Ruger SFAR. If we can convince this camera to stay in focus, I can actually show you. You can see that the rim of the case is torn. So I'm trying to get the light to catch it in a way that you can actually see that. Hopefully it is clear on camera. I'm looking at the screen, so I'm trying to make sure that it's in focus. All right, so what would happen is the very first round, bang, then I pull the trigger again, and then click, no bang. So I cycle the charging handle, and it does not eject anything. Well, first of all, the charging handle was actually stuck, so I couldn't actually cycle it. So I removed the magazine. I don't know what the move is called, but where you slam the stock on the ground while you're pulling on the charging handle to get it to come back. And I was able to get the charging handle back, but it did not eject anything. That is when I'm assuming that it tore the edge of the case and would not eject. So I got a cleaning rod and rammed it out, charged it, and loaded another round. Bang, click. Same thing. Took a lot of effort to clear it. Third round, same thing. I tried it on all 3 gas settings, and that did not make a difference. The only way that I could get it to cycle reliably is once I loaded the rounds into the magazine, is I took a little bit of REM oil and I dropped that on the rim of the case, and that actually got it cycling. That finally was able to get the rounds to eject reliably. I tried it on the 3 gas settings and it got it working, but every magazine I would have to load like 10 rounds, drop some oil in there, load 10 more rounds, drop some more oil in there. And then I could insert the magazine into the gun and run those 20 rounds through the rifle. But I had to lube several of the rounds each time, and that got a little annoying. I was a little frustrated on that first outing with it. Not to mention, I'm not the biggest person out there. I am 5'10", I'm 130 pounds, I can disappear when I turn sideways. So I don't handle recoil quite as well as some of the other people out there. So I had a lot of recoil. I would say that at the risk of being called a wuss or a pussy, yes, I'm a little bit more recoil sensitive. You can eat a bag of dicks. I didn't really enjoy the recoil too much. It hit pretty hard, and actually it left my shoulder bruised. So I wasn't really enjoying it the first time I went out and shot it. So after sleeping on it a little bit, I was trying to see if maybe there's some things that I could do to reduce some recoil, like changing out the buffer or something like that. I run Armaspec buffers in all of my ARs, whether it is the sound mitigation buffer or the stealth recoil spring. I run the Armaspec buffers in all of my ARs because that's what I like, unless it requires something different, like the Foxtrot mic has its own thing. My SIG MPX or MCX has its own buffer system, so obviously it doesn't. But anything that has a buffer tube that requires a buffer back here, I like those far better than the standard buffer and spring. They're smoother, they're quieter. You may not think that you can hear the noise of the buffer over it, but I promise you, if you try both, you will notice a difference. But anyway, I was thinking about trying to change out the buffer, maybe to like a Spikes Tactical T2, the tungsten powder buffer. I haven't tried that yet, but I did get the different recoil pad for the SL stock that it comes with. So it's a little bit thicker, it has a little bit more squish to it. Not a lot, but I mean, it was noticeably different when I took this out to shoot it a second time. I slept on it a little bit. I thought about this. I went ahead and bought the butt pad and decided to take it out a second time because I wasn't like fully convinced that I didn't want to keep it or anything like that, because I really like the idea of having it. So I took it out a second time. I lubed the rounds just like I had before and was running rounds through it, and I did notice that it was a little bit more pleasant to shoot with this different butt pad. So I was enjoying it a whole lot more than I was the first time. So I put a whole lot more rounds through it the second time and had a lot more fun with it. And just this rubber butt pad alone changed me from thinking about not keeping it to wanting to keep it. So that was one of the things that I experienced in my first rounds through it, was the heavy recoil. Now, even on that second time with the rubber butt pad, again, my shoulder was left bruised, but it wasn't as bad as it was the first time, so I did notice a difference. Now, as far as the spent brass not ejecting, I experienced it once when I took it out the second time. That's mostly because I was getting ahead of it and lubricating the brass before I ran it through the rifle. I did Google the issue, and I found other people experienced the same type of thing. They sent it back to Ruger, and it sounds like they changed out the barrel because the specs may not be quite right. I'm not positive. Maybe somebody that has experience with it. If you have experience with it, please leave a comment below and let us know what you did. Did you do a further break-in and just needs to be broken in? Or did you in fact send it back to Ruger and they replaced the barrel or something to that effect? I would like to know if anybody's had experience with that, because if I just need to break it in some more, then I'll do that. Or if I need to send it back to Ruger, then I will go through that headache and do that. I only have 90 rounds through this so far. This is probably the first firearm that I'm actually counting the rounds that go through this. Most of the other ones I don't, I just shoot them. I see a lot of other people changing out the handguard. I have no intention to do that. Same thing with the gas block. Again, I have no intention of doing that. I like most of the way that this is, as far as like the major parts. If you haven't seen the accessories video, you can check that out. I can go over them really quick. I changed out the muzzle brake so that I can put my suppressor on it, put a Magpul bipod on it, BCM vertical grip, which is an M-lock, it mounts directly to the rail. I changed out the K2 grip. I put an ambi safety in here from Armaspec. I put some anti-walk, anti-rotation pins in here, and that's not because I was concerned about them walking out from side to side or rotating in the hole. There was actually physical movement of the pin in that hole, and you could see the pin move back and forth, and that is not something that is supposed to happen if the tolerances are correct, which they obviously were not in this Ruger. So I did that to keep them from moving back and forth within that hole and making those holes bigger. So I think somebody commented on that on the video before, that they're supposed to. No, they are not supposed to move back and forth in the hole. Side to side movement is okay, rotating is okay, but physical movement in the hole like this and it going back and forth like this, that's a problem. So I did do these, I think they're from Elfman Tactical, to keep that from happening. I also put a PDQ in it, and I absolutely love these. I put them in all my ARs, so to find it for the 308 platform, I was super excited about. I changed out the takedown and pivot pins to Yankee Hill because these ones are enhanced, they're bigger. Something to keep in mind, the safety is pushed further back in the receiver than on a normal AR-15. That's to allow for the bigger magwell. I don't find it, this extended takedown pin, to interfere with the safety. I can still get to it. It's not an issue. I may eventually put in a Norgon Ambi mag release. I have not yet, but I probably will. A couple of other things from that video, if you've already seen it. I changed out the charging handle. I had a Raptor charging handle, so I tried that in here, and big surprise, love it, it stayed. I run Raptors on all of my ARs that take any sort of T charging handle, because that is my favorite charging handle. I run Raptors on everything, even my M&P 1522s, they have Raptors in them as well. And you'll notice that I have a funny looking sighting system on here. And we'll be talking about that in another video. So if you are curious about this ridiculous setup, make sure that you subscribe and keep an eye out for that video. The SL stock comes on the Ruger SFAR. I don't have an issue with it. I like the SL stock. If I changed it out to anything, it would be the, what is it, the B5 stock. I would put that on there instead if I changed it out at all to anything. So that's it for my first shots video with the SFAR. It did not go as smoothly as I had planned. I am really liking it. I'm just curious what I need to do about the fact that they won't extract spent casings, whether I need to, I'll probably contact Ruger either way, but I'm just wondering if it may need more break-in. Maybe the extractor spring is not strong enough, which I highly doubt considering I have to jam a cleaning rod down it. So I don't think it's the extractor spring that's the problem. I think it's just the tolerances inside the chamber of the barrel. Maybe they are just incorrect. So hopefully Ruger can get me taken care of, or I need to break it in some more. I did not check out the gas block. It doesn't feel loose. I know other people have had issues experienced that the gas block was not tight. It doesn't feel loose, but that is something that I need to check. I just haven't. But I am absolutely loving the SFAR. I'm glad I took it out a second time and gave it another chance, because this is a gun that I'm going to keep, and had a lot of fun with it. I've run it both suppressed and unsuppressed through those in those 90 rounds. I've done both. When you after you buy your first suppressor, you absolutely want more, trust me. I picked this up for, I think it was like $950 at Tombstone Tactical. That is my local gun store. They do not sponsor me as of yet. Who knows, maybe in the future we can talk them into it. But check them out. They are still, it's an ongoing process with their website. They're always working on it. So not all of their images on all of their products are correct, but they have a growing inventory list. They have lots of things to choose from. It's one of my go-to places that I go to purchase. Most of the time they are beating prices of Optics Planet and most other places, and that's without any discount codes. They are still beating the prices, so definitely check them out if you are looking for firearms or accessories or anything like that. They're located here in Phoenix. They also have one in, I believe it's Chinle or Chino Valley, something like that. There's another location in northeastern Arizona. You can find that on their website. But Tombstone Tactical, definitely check them out. I buy a lot of my stuff there because you're left with paying transfer fees or whatever else. So if I can buy something there, not have to pay a transfer fee and still save money, then I'm definitely gonna do that, obviously. So that's it for the video on our first shots with the Ruger SFAR, and we'll catch you on the next project. See ya.